It starts with a whisper in the dark, a dream louder than rockets, older than Earth's first fire, a dream to live beyond the sky, not just to touch another world, but to plant a life there, to grow it, to wake up, make coffee, and step into a red morning on Mars. It's wild, it's ridiculous. And yet here we are, staring at the stars with a billionaire's blueprint clutched in one hand and our fragile human hope in the other. Elon Musk doesn't just want to visit Mars. He wants to live there. He wants you, your kids, and your neighbors to move in. 1 million people building a second Earth on a silent, frozen desert 140 million miles away. Think about that. Really think. This isn't a sci-fi pitch or a scene from a Marvel film. It's a plan, a real one, drafted not in ink, but in steel, in code, in fuel and fire and sheer nerve. The first ships are already being tested. They aren't models. They fly. They land. They breathe out flame and then breathe again. The Starship isn't a dream anymore. It's a prototype that trembles the Earth every time it rises. And yet, as big as the rocket is, it's the idea behind it that's bigger. Because this isn't just about escaping Earth or fleeing some future catastrophe. It's about becoming more, about becoming interplanetary. Our ancestors once looked out from caves and wondered what was beyond the hill. Now we're doing the same, except our hill is the sky. And Mars, it waits for us, ancient and silent. Not welcoming, not ready, but there. There will be no red carpet rolled out for us on that dusty world. Only rock, radiation, cold that bites through your bones like a ghost. We'll have to earn every breath, every step. And that's what makes it beautiful, because that's what humanity does. We survive impossible things. Then we build stories in their ashes. But before we build, we have to get there. And that's where Starship comes in. It's not like any rocket that came before. Not just because of its size or its gleaming steel skin, but because it's designed to come back, to fly again, to carry not just cargo, but lives, hundreds at a time. Think of it like an ocean ferry, not a missile. It goes out and it returns, over and over. The same ship, the same journey. One day it could become so routine, it's boring. But that day isn't here yet. The first trips will be terrifying. The 7-month voyage will stretch every nerve and fray every mind. Weightless, isolated, held in place by technology and trust. No sunsets, no fresh air, just silence and systems and the vast black hum of space. But it'll be worth it, because when those hatches open and boots crunch down into Martian dust, it won't be just astronauts planting flags. It will be humans planting roots. Still, the first arrivals won't find a city. No homes, no shops, no comfort, just raw wilderness and cold purpose. It'll be engineers and builders, pioneers, people with grease-stained hands and sleepless eyes, laying the foundation for others to follow. Each dome raised will be a promise, each panel sealed, a step towards something that's never existed, a second cradle for our species. And make no mistake, Mars will fight us. It will freeze us, choke us, bathe us in radiation. Its wind may whisper soft, but it carries knives of dust that can ruin machines, scratch visors, bury dreams. There's no oxygen waiting, no forest to stroll. The sun's warmth is distant, its light weak, and still, we'll build. We'll create bubbles of life inside the void, transparent domes that glow at night like lanterns on the plain. Inside, laughter might echo one day, music might play, crops might stretch toward artificial suns, and for the first time a child might be born under alien skies. But that's not today, not yet. Today is about grit, about gearing up, about preparing to leave behind everything you know for everything we could become, about staring up at the night sky and understanding, truly understanding, that you might die out there. But you'll have mattered. Musk once said he'd only go to Mars if he knew SpaceX would survive without him. That says everything. This isn't just about exploration, it's legacy. It's letting go of ego. It's planting a flag not for yourself, but for all the lives that will follow. So why do it? Why risk so much for a world that gives nothing back? Because Earth is precious and it's vulnerable. All of our memories, our music, our art, it's all here. One asteroid, one war, one misstep, and it could all disappear. But if we spread out, if we become more than one world, then we protect it. We give humanity a backup drive. We give the universe more chances to hear us. There's something heartbreakingly poetic about that we build our future not out of fear, but out of hope. That even in the coldest, darkest place we've ever imagined living, we believe we can find warmth. We believe we can build a home. And in that belief is everything. Now imagine this. You step outside your tiny shelter on Mars and everything is silent. Not quiet, silent. There's no wind rustling through trees, no birds, no cars. Just the hum of your suit, your breath, and beneath your feet, the endless ancient dust. Dust that hasn't been disturbed in a billion years, until now. This is your new home. Harsh, hostile, but filled with promise. Mars doesn't want you there. You can feel it in every gust of red sand that whips across your visor, in the way the cold grabs at your bones, even through layers of insulation. The air is poison, the sunlight is weak. And yet, despite all that, you find yourself looking out across the rust-colored horizon and feeling something strange. Belonging. Because you're one of the first, one of the few. And every step you take, every tool you lift, every panel you screw into place, it all means something. You're not just building a base, you're building the next chapter of human existence. The first Martian homes won't be sleek towers or glowing sci-fi utopias. They'll be practical, clumsy, and small. Metal domes hauled piece by piece across 140 million miles. You'll live inside one, surrounded by machines that hum and hiss and warn, where every breath you take has to be manufactured. Nothing is given. Everything is earned. But they'll grow. One dome becomes three. Three becomes a network. And soon, it's a village. Maybe it's not much, just some connected modules and power cables snaking through red dirt. But it's ours. A fragile thread of life on a dead world. The most brilliant minds will live here first, sure. Engineers, scientists, builders. But even they will need help. Mars won't thrive on intellect alone. It will need hands, fixers, growers, cleaners. People who wake up early and scrub dust from solar panels, who patch broken pipes, who cook meals from freeze-dried rations and learn to make them taste like something more than survival. There's dignity in that kind of work, the kind that echoes louder than any title. On Mars, everyone matters. Every role is essential. There are no sidelines. You don't just live on Mars. You fight for it every single day. And what a fight it is. The storms aren't like Earth's. On Mars, the wind doesn't howl with fury. It whispers with persistence. You don't hear it, but you see it. A wall of dust slowly swallowing the horizon. It covers everything, coats the solar panels, clogs the machinery, hides the stars, and suddenly the little electricity you have begins to dwindle. No sunlight means no power. No power means no life support, no communication, no heat. And that's when you realize your enemy here isn't just the cold or the radiation, it's silence. The silence of failure. So what do? You adapt. You clean the panels by hand. You suit up and face the storm. You build robots that work even when you can't. You find ways to capture sunlight even when it barely reaches the ground. Because giving up isn't an option. There's no rescue ship waiting, no lifeline, just you, your crew, and your determination. Over time, these small acts become the culture. Ingenuity becomes survival. And slowly, almost quietly, a new way of life begins to take shape. Food doesn't come in packages anymore. It grows in hydroponic bays under artificial light. Potatoes, lettuce, maybe even strawberries. You still remember what real fruit tasted like back on Earth. This is close. Not quite, but close enough to make your mouth water and your chest ache. Water, precious as gold, is mined from the frozen ground. Extracted, filtered, recycled. You don't waste it. Every drop counts. You shower with sponges. You reuse everything, even your tears if you let yourself cry. And yet you laugh. That's the miracle of it all. You laugh with your crew over bad Martian coffee. You tell stories. You decorate your room with printed photos of blue skies you once took for granted. You watch movies about Earth, and they feel like fairy tales. A planet where you could step outside and breathe. Imagine that. But you also stop imagining Earth so much. Because Mars, for all its cruelty, is becoming home. The structures grow smarter, stronger. Some of them are printed straight from the Martian soil, egg-shaped habitats made from the ground beneath your feet, spun by robotic arms like giant potter's wheels. Their walls are thick, curved, warm against the cold. They hold heat. They protect. They feel solid, like permanence. You dream bigger. Maybe we go underground next. Tunnels that stretch beneath the surface like arteries, safe from storms, lit from within. A city below the dirt, silent, protected, but maybe too silent, maybe too much like a tomb. There's a danger there, not from radiation or oxygen loss, but from something more subtle. The human soul wasn't made to live in a hole. We need the sun, even if it's pale and far away. We need windows, even if they show only rock and dust. We need to know there's something out there, space to grow, to reach. So we build with light in mind, with sky in mind, transparent domes, vertical towers, spaces that breathe. Because if we want to live here, not just survive here, we need more than shelter. We need beauty. We need hope. And as we build out, mile by mile, module by module, we begin to see it. A skyline, not of glass and steel, but of domes and towers glowing softly against the Martian night. The first Martian city, crude, imperfect, but alive. A city that never should have existed. And yet, it does. There comes a day when you no longer count the days. You wake up, and the red dust outside your window doesn't feel foreign anymore. The hum of the air recyclers has faded into the background of your mind, like the sound of traffic once did on Earth. You don't flinch at the sight of the pale Martian sun rising through a sky the color of rust. It just feels normal. That's how you know Mars is no longer a mission. It's home. Maybe you've lived here for 5 years now, maybe 10. You've watched strangers become family. You've helped plant the first tree, just a little sapling in a glass greenhouse that everyone came to see like it was a miracle. Maybe it was. Life growing in a place that once knew nothing but death. It felt like a promise. By now, the colony stretches far beyond what anyone thought possible. There are domes with schools inside, where kids learn to read while they float slightly above the floor, giggling as they fall slowly. There are farms lit by purple LEDs, filled with rows of greens that sway gently under filtered sunlight. There's even a tiny cafe, just a recycled cargo module, where someone figured out how to brew something like coffee. Bitter, weak, but warm. And in this world, warmth is everything. You walk through these corridors sometimes and realize that most of the people here weren't even born when Elon Musk first said he wanted to go to Mars. They've only ever known this life. To them, Earth is the myth, the distant place where people once lived freely, where oceans moved and birds flew. Some dream of visiting it someday, but others, they don't care. Mars is their world, their gravity, their sky. They belong here in a way you're not sure you ever will. And that's okay. You remember what it was like to arrive, how hard it was, how scared you were, the nights you lay awake wondering if you'd made the biggest mistake of your life. You remember the silence, the weight of the unknown, the tears you swallowed because no one else had time to cry. You remember thinking, this place will kill me, but you're still here, and you've watched something incredible happen. The first Martian wedding. A gathering of 50 people crammed into a greenhouse. Flowers made from printed fabric and solar cloth. Music piped in through an old speaker. 2 people holding hands, vowing to love each other beneath a sky that doesn't forgive mistakes. A sky that watched them promise anyway. The first Martian birth. Fragile, risky, but perfect. That tiny wrinkled child became the heartbeat of the whole colony. Proof that life could begin here, not just arrive. The doctors cried. The mother laughed. The baby opened her eyes and saw red light for the first time, and she was not afraid. The first time someone died here. Not in an accident, not from malfunction or failure, but from time, old age, a quiet, peaceful death. There was a memorial under the main dome. People gathered, someone read a poem, and as the sun dipped low, they released a little balloon of ash into the Martian wind. It drifted upward, slow and dancing, and then disappeared into the red. That's when it hits you. This isn't just a colony. It's a civilization. It's fragile. It's flawed. But it's real, and it's growing. You walk to the edge of the settlement sometimes, just to stand in the open. There's a spot, a small ridge just outside the solar grid, where you can see everything. The glimmer of domes, the silent hum of life beneath them. You stand there, and you remember what it took to get here. The sacrifices, the losses, the risks no one else was willing to take. And you think of Earth. You wonder what it looks like now. You wonder if anyone misses you. If they watch the stars and think, somewhere out there, a part of us lives on another planet. Maybe they're proud. Maybe they're scared. But you know this. They're not alone anymore. We are no longer Earthlings. We are Martians. It's strange, isn't it, to realize that humanity has become something else, something more. We came here hoping to survive, but instead, we built a future. Not perfect, not easy, but beautiful. And as you stand there looking out over this impossible, miraculous place, you feel something stir in your chest. Not pride, not even relief, but peace. Because maybe this was always meant to be. Maybe the stars have always been calling us. And maybe, just maybe, we finally answered. Welcome to Mars. Welcome home.